In this video, I'm going to show off some of my own copper rounds and pull no punches as I judge the designs based on the criteria from my last video on the best copper round designs, specifically for the purpose of post-apocalyptic barter. When your life depends on trading for a bottle of clean water or a tube of antibiotic ointment, which copper round design will stand out as a valuable and legitimate medium for trade, and which will get you laughed out of town? So here I'm going to give a couple examples of copper rounds that I would not collect or stack if I could go back and do it again, mainly for barter, that is. Now, for personal enjoyment, that's a different story. But for barter, I probably would steer clear of a few designs here from my collection. And I think you can probably understand a few of these, why I might. First up, Bitcoin. I mean, with everything that's gone on with Bitcoin, the fact that it's sort of heralded in the age of the digital dollar potentially as well, I'm not as happy to support that. Then you've got up the this particular round, which I have in a case. I really like the design, but I think you can spot the one item that I might not like at the bottom, which is a date, which again I just think leads to potential confusion. The back is very generic. Then of course we've got our Second Amendment. You know, nothing wrong with liking a Second Amendment design, having it, enjoying it. It's even got the full Second Amendment on the back. This is kind of neat, you know, if you want to give a gift to somebody. But as a matter of barter, I don't know. This one doesn't really. I mean, it's not got. It's got a bit here on the bottom where you can see the mention of, if I can get it to focus, a mention of the copper content. There we go. And that's good. But I think overall the theme is very strong on this particular round, so I don't think it's the best for barter. This one is actually great. It's a Fugio Cent. Recently got these. Perfect. I really like the design. This is a favorite of mine. The only thing is, because I suppose the potential of fraud or whatnot, there is the even though they are not the same size. I did check that just to be sure. As the originals, there is this little copy mark down at the bottom, and that copy mark is not necessarily something. Maybe you think maybe it wouldn't matter to you, but I don't want anything that gives the impression that this is not genuine copper. And having a little mark at the bottom that says copy could lead someone to believe that maybe it's there's something up with it, even though we know the real reason, which is from a numismatics perspective. You don't want to have copies of the original Fugio Cent, regardless of the fact that it's, from my understanding, completely different size, or at least a significant difference in size and shape. I suppose things like perhaps the reading on the side. I'm not sure what else might be different, but I don't think any numismatist is going to be fooled. But they still have to put that on there, probably for some kind of legal reason, because it approximates the original so closely. Then, of course, we've got this one. Now, this one, I'm going to surprise you maybe. I kind of like men and arms, safety in numbers, and then my favorite backing of any copper round, which is real metal, real value in the back. Protect the future, all of that. I'm going to actually, I'm going to take this one, and I would put this, although there's some of these that I wouldn't like the, hey, I prep food one, and hey, I prep ammunition one. This one is saying, hey, I've got some buddies back at home. So maybe you don't want to follow me back and mess with me. So I'm going to put this one over in the good pile. And the good pile over here are a few that I've found over the past few years and settled on as being some go-to designs. One of my favorite here is a classic, is the capped bust. Comment below if you recognize where this originally comes from. The capped bust design, the reason I like it is A, there's no date on the bottom, and B, the back very loudly declares that this is a common back used on others, but it's copper 999 fine, and 1 ounce written on the bottom again. And getting that hard to focus. Sort of a USA design, but it doesn't look like it's appropriating any particular specific fiat currency design. So it gets all the patriotism in there, but doesn't try to be a copy of an existing coin. So love this one. And the next one up is the Morgan. Morgan, silver, dollars, all that. This is a very popular design. It has the pluribus unum on the top, nothing on the bottom, and on the back, sort of a modern design. You may or may not like this mix here, of the classic and the new. But this is a common design here, and I like it. It's used. You know what? I want to say I know which mint this comes from, but I might have to leave it up to the experts. There's a little signature down at the bottom that says something like, can't quite make it out, like PK or TK, like this one. All right, and then this one again is the one I mentioned before, protect the future, and on the back, safety in numbers. So these are, these are the kind of rounds that I will get in tubes, and if you go to a place like JM Bullion, they'll always try to sell you on the as low as, $1.75 per round. But if you go to a place like the Golden State Mint during a sale, or if you go to Liberty Copper, Liberty Copper's thing, it'll say something like from $35. So if you don't dig in, it might be potentially a little bit confusing, which I've mentioned to Liberty Copper. But the idea is that you could get a tube of however many it is for $35. So I'd have to double check on the quantity, but what it comes out to is $1.50 a round for a lower threshold of quantity than you would normally need to get that price per round at a big site. So again, when you go to the big sites, they'll always say $1 as low as $1.75, $2, something like that. But if you dig in and you only purchase 10 rounds, it could be significantly more, as much as double the price. So another tip there, a few sites don't do that to you either during sales or there's some eBay sellers. In fact, I think Liberty Copper is on eBay as well still. And there are a couple other sellers, but key point is that if you only want to buy a tube, then you can do so for the as low as or even cheaper price than the big boys, even though you might think going to such a site would give you a better price. Actually, in some cases, the smaller vendors will do better if all you're looking for is a single tube. Or for that matter, a single round. Although not all smaller vendors will offer a single round.
I did promise an ugly in my video title, so I looked for a bit for the least appropriate copper round for barter under the rules of my last video. This first one, of course, is a joke. Or is it?
Not a joke. Not a joke.
The winner, however, is this art bar mint design, which appears to be based on the same design as this 1902 $10 banknote, the reverse of which has a Lady Liberty of sorts, carrying numerous symbolic items. It's apparent that some things don't make the transition well from paper and ink to metal, and this is one of those. It's hard to tell if it's a he or a she or what is going on in the copper round version. So, there's the ugly. And that's all I have for now, fellow mutants. Copper Mutant, signing out.